we can let the Vaporeon meme die now. Okay, now with that out of the way, Eeveelutions are pretty fun to have on a playthrough team. While they usually won't be the best team member, Eeveelutions are the definition of tried and true. And so today we're going to go over every Pokemon region and decide which Eeveelution is the best for that region. We of course start with the one and only Kanto region. Kanto introduced the first Eeveelutions, Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon. Every Eeveelution has a base stat total of 525, and that stat total comes from a combination of the following stats: 130, 110, 95, 60, and 2 stats with base 65. Vaporeon specializes in the HP stat, Jolteon in the speed stat, and Flareon in the attack stat. In Kanto, you get Eevee once you reach Celadon City, or Route 17 if you're playing the Let's Go games. In the Celadon department store, you can buy the stones needed for Eevee: the Water Stone, Thunder Stone, and Fire Stone. But how do these Eeveelutions fare in a Kanto playthrough? Interestingly, Flareon has the best immediate results, having the type advantage against Erica and the Venomoth Koga has. Heck, if you play Yellow specifically, Koga's basically a bug specialist. But Flareon does start to fall off after this point. Flareon has bad matchups against Blaine and Giovanni, and the Ice specialist Lorelei is basically a water specialist. Meanwhile, Vaporeon is who has an advantage against Blaine and Giovanni. Then Jolteon has pretty good matchups within the league, but overall, I believe Vaporeon ends up being the best Kanto Eeveelution. Vaporeon has the best matchup against the last 2 gym leaders, and with ice moves, Vaporeon can have as many good matchups in the league. In fact, Vaporeon can theoretically solo half of Blue's team, covering Pidgeot, Rhydon, and his fire type with water and ice moves. Now for the underappreciated Johto region. In Johto, we were introduced to 2 new Eeveelutions, Espeon and Umbreon. Espeon is a special attacker while Umbreon specializes in special defense. They're friendship evolutions, with the one you get depending on the time. You get Espeon during the day and Umbreon during nighttime. In Johto, you get Eevee in Goldenrod City after talking to Bill and Ecruteak. And since Espeon and Umbreon are friendship evolutions, well, think about this as if you evolved them as soon as you get them. As for the other Eeveelutions, getting the stones is more complicated. In Gold and Silver, you can't get any of them until Bill's grandfather in Kanto. Luckily, there are much sooner options in Crystal and the remakes. You get the Water Stone from Andy on Route 42 or the Pokeathlon, the Thunder Stone from Dana on Route 38, and the Fire Stone from Alan on Route 36. For the performance, I believe Jolteon is the best. Jolteon helps against at least 1 Pokemon from 3 gym leaders, and in the league can help out against everyone except Bruno. Most notably is Lance, where half of his team is weak to Electric. Runner-up is Espeon though. Espeon can help against Morty, Chuck, Koga, and Bruno, helping out against most, if not their entire teams, as opposed to Jolteon. It's close, but Kanto is what changes this for me. In my personal opinion, the only Kanto battles that matter are Blue and Red. Espeon only helps against Blue's Machamp. Meanwhile, Jolteon gets Gyarados, Pidgeot, Lapras, Blastoise, and Charizard. However, this is all looking at how the Eeveelutions do in sheer offense. Let's be real, from a competitive sense, Umbreon is the best. Now for the 7 point out of 10 Hoenn region. Gen 3 didn't add any new Eeveelutions. In fact, you can't catch Eevee in Hoenn at all. Well, in Oras you can, but only in the post game. But theoretically, if you use the randomizer to start with an Eeveelution, who would be the best? Well, I think that would be Vaporeon, but not nearly as effectively as Swampert. If you know why Mudkip is the best starter for a Hoenn playthrough, then Vaporeon being the best Eeveelution shouldn't be a surprise. However, without the ground typing, Vaporeon cannot help with Watson. On top of that, a mono water type isn't as effective against Steven. Now for my turf, the Sinnoh region. Sinnoh introduced 2 new Eeveelutions, Leafeon and Glaceon. And if you're a fellow fan of Glaceon, I am so sorry in advance. Leafeon is defensive while Glaceon is another special attacker, but Glaceon is made to be bulkier than Espeon. Yeah, a bulky ice type. We're off to a great start. Between their introduction in Gen 4 and Gen 7, they evolved when leveled up next to a Moss Rock or Ice Rock respectively. Victory. But from Sword and Shield onwards, the Leaf Stone and Ice Stone now work. Anyways, now to explain the performance of the Eeveelutions in Sinnoh, where we're exclusively talking about Platinum. And this isn't just because of my bias against BDSP. In DP and BDSP, you straight up can't get Eevee until the post game, whereas in Platinum you can get Eevee as soon as you reach Hearthome. Theoretically, Flareon should be the best in Sinnoh, having the advantage against Byron, Canned Ice, and Aeron. However, this has the caveat that Byron is pretty risky, as 2 of his steel types have typings that are effective against fire, but the main hurdle Flareon has to overcome is their Learn set. In Gen 4, the strongest physical fire move Flareon has is Fire Fang. That's right, Flareon did not get Flare Blitz in Gen 4. As such, I think the title of Best Sinnoh Eeveelution goes to Vaporeon. Wow, that's 3 out of 4 regions. Maybe in terms of being helpful in a playthrough team, Vaporeon is honestly better for Byron. He has a Magneton, but that's only one Pokemon good against Vaporeon. Afterwards, Vaporeon is good against 2 of the Elite 4, and with an Ice move, Vaporeon can help against Togekiss and Garchomp. It's not a dominant advantage, but I think Vaporeon performs the best. Now for the fabulous Unova region, where we'll only discuss the sequel since Eevee is in black and white. Eevee can be caught in Castelia City when you'll have 2 badges. And I believe the best Eeveelution in black 2 and white 2 is Vaporeon. I swear to Arceus I am not doing this on purpose. Jolteon is close, especially since you get the Thunderstone more easily, but Vaporeon helps with Clay, half of Chantal's team, and with an Ice move, Vaporeon can theoretically sweep most of Iris's team. Jolteon on the other hand helps with Skyla, Marlin, and some of Iris's team. Like I said, it's close, so maybe it depends on what you care about more. Vaporeon is better for the league, while Jolteon is better for more gyms. Side note though, if you could get Glaceon as soon as you get Eevee, Glaceon would be the best Eeveelution in Unova, being good against 4 gym leaders and Iris. Too bad the Moss Rock and Ice Rock can't be found until the post game. Now for the underrated Kalos region. X and Y introduced a new and so far last Eeveelution, Sylveon. Sylveon is a fairy type and has high special defense. Eevee becomes Sylveon when they have 2 affection with a fairy move, with affection being swapped out for high friendship Gen 8 onwards. For the fairy move, Eevee can learn Baby Doll Eyes or Charm. Eevee can be found on Route 10, where he can catch one before Grant. Now for the best Eeveelution for Kalos, where I'm already disqualifying Leafeon and Glaceon again. The Moss Rock can't be accessed until after you have 7 badges, and the Ice Rock isn't until Frost Cavern, after you have 6 badges. So hey, points to Glaceon for being obtainable before Leafeon. In Kalos, the new Eeveelution Sylveon is the best. The only gym Sylveon is good against is Karina, so that is a negative. However, Sylveon is then good against Dresna in the Elite 4, and half of Diantha's team. Theoretically, Grant could also be added to the list, since his ace is the Dragon-type Tyrant. However, I don't remember if you have access to a Fairy-type TM that early, but if you can, then that makes Sylveon even better, as that would make Sylveon good against the next 2 immediate gyms. Runner-up though was oddly enough Flareon. By Gen 6, Flareon now has Flare Blitz added to their level up learn set. Flareon is also good against the most gyms, Ramos and Wolfric, but overall I think Sylveon has the best matchups, and it helps that Fairy is seen as one of the best competitive types. Now for the tropical Alola region. Here you can get Eevee on Route 4 or as an egg in the Paniola nursery, and either of these methods give you easy ways to get an Eeveelution. On Route 4, Eevee can call Espeon or Umbreon as an SOS partner, and you can buy the evolution stones in Olivia's jewelry store. For Leafeon and Glaceon, the Moss Rock is found in the Lush Jungle, and the Ice Rock is not found until Victory Road. Yeah, Glaceon is not the best Eeveelution for an Alola playthrough. Instead, that title goes to... wait. What? You wonderful people, we have a three-way tie. Vaporeon, Flareon, and Sylveon all do really well in Alola. Vaporeon is good against Totem Salazzle/Marowak, Olivia, and Hapu. Flareon counters Lurantis, Vikavolt/Togedemaru, Rabombi, and Molayne. And Sylveon covers Nanu, Totem Komodo, and Hala's Elite Four battle. So I guess in this case, it would depend on what starter you pick. Now for the sporty Galar region. Just like Alola, Eevee is found in Galar's Route 4. And since we're in Gen 8, Leafeon and Glaceon can use the Eeveelution stones, meaning you can immediately use the Leaf Stone in Turf Field for Leafeon, and you get the Ice Stone in Route 9, when you already have 6 badges. Glaceon, I love you, but oh my god. Anyways, the other evolution stones are easily found in the wild area, so you can immediately evolve Eevee into almost every Eeveelution. As for who's the best in Galar, I think it depends on the version. Vaporeon is best for Sword, while Flareon is best for Shield. In Sword, Vaporeon counters Kabu, Gordy, and Raihan with ice moves, and in Shield, Flareon covers Milo, Melanie, and Chairman Rose, though you could argue that Flareon overall has the advantage. Flareon covers an earlier gym and can resist Opal and Beed's fairy teams. Now finally for the shiny new Paldea region, in which I'ma just do what we did for Hoenn, and assume you have an Eeveelution for every major battle. Sorry, but I don't want to do the thinking needed for a kinda open world. In Scarlet, Sylveon and Flareon are once again tied, whereas in Violet, Flareon completely wins out. In Scarlet, Sylveon covers Bombardier, Giacomo, Great Tusk, Airy, and Hassel. And Flareon covers Katie, Brassius, Orthworm, Grusha, and Poppy. Plus Iron Treads in Violet, but it's risky. Overall though, I'd give the crown to Flareon. Flareon is better for earlier battles and isn't a slouch in the late game. And there you have it, folks. The best Eeveelution for every game, at least in my opinion. The final results are Vaporeon for Kanto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, Unova, Alola in a tie, and Galar in Sword. Jolteon for Johto, but is a close second in Kanto and Unova. Sylveon in Kalos, but is also tied in Alola and Paldea. And finally, Flareon and Galar in Shield, plus a tie in Alola and Paldea. But who do you think is the best Eeveelution for every region? What about your favorite Eeveelution? Let me know in the comments below. And become a member if you're interested. It's only $2 a month. Have a nice day, you wonderful people. I can never escape this meme!